Welcome back, everyone, to episode number 17 of End Zone. I'm joined here back with Donnie and another episode. This
Yep.
time, the NBA preview. The season starts tonight, so we will be going through all 30 teams, predictions, all of that. But welcome in, Donnie.
Yep. Another day back in the office. Feels good to be back.
Oh, yeah, feels great to be back. The NBA season right around the corner. This is the best time in sports, in my opinion. Let's start it off,
hmm
though, with the Atlanta Hawks. One of the main teams in the offseason. They got Kristaps Porzingis. They signed Nikhil Alexander-Walker. Trey Young, Dyson Daniels just got extended. What do you think about this team? What are your expectations?
I think they're gonna be a pretty good team. I don't know. I kind of forgot my predictions, but I think I had them as a pretty solid, like low playoff team. I think they're definitely maybe fighting for a seventh and eighth seed, but I definitely do think that they're gonna be better than last year.
Yeah, I feel like they've been consistent in the 9 and 10 spot in the playoffs, and I think this is kind of the year where they have to take that jump, or else you're looking at trading Trey Young, kind of resetting the roster. But I like their young players. I love Jalen Johnson. I love Dyson Daniels. A double O off the bench. Luke Kennard, a good 3-point shooter. So I do like the construction of this team. It's just like, can you trust Trey Young as like your main scorer on a really good playoff team?
Yep.
From one of the best teams in the East to another solid team, albeit less expectations due to the injury to Jason Tatum, the Boston Celtics, likely starting Peyton Pritchard over Anthony Simons, but Simons should be their sixth man. Derek White, Jalen Brown, and then your front court of Chris Boucher and Neemias Queta, a lot different from last year. Do you
Yeah.
expect that this team to be good, or is this kind of a reset year?
I think that the Boston Celtics, over the offseason, I think they were trying too hard to maybe switch the roster up. I thought that their roster was completely fine. Maybe outside the Anfernee Simons trade, I thought that their roster was completely fine. They didn't need to trade Porzingis at all. Then I do think that it's interesting considering how they did trade away Porzingis and Holiday. I did really like Holiday in the Boston Celtics lineup. But I do think that Peyton Pritchard does deserve that starting spot, and I think it'll be interesting how the roster plays out this season without Jason Tatum.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to see like can Jalen Brown be that number one guy? Can Peyton Pritchard and Anthony Simons get a bigger role than they have in seasons prior? And then like
hmm
can Chris Boucher, Neemias Queta, they have Luca Garza, they have Sim Hauser off the bench. Can that
Yeah.
those 3, 4, and 5 positions can they actually hold their own? Because obviously it's not Porzingis, it's not Horford,
Yep.
it's not Tatum, it's not those guys that have been stable there.
Yep.
And then going from two very solid teams to probably one of the worst teams in the league, the Brooklyn Nets. They signed Cam Thomas back on a 1 year deal. Obviously, Yegor Demin, their first round pick, one of their first round picks. Terrence Mann, Michael Porter Jr., who they acquired the trade, and then Nick Claxton will be your starters. And then a lot of youth off the bench. They waived Kobe Buffkin, but they have Noah Clowney, Ben Saraft, Day'Ron Sharp. They have Drake Powell, Johnny. What's the dude, the center from Danny Wolf. But a
Yep.
lot of young guys off the bench. I think this team is fun. I just don't think this team wins more than 20 games.
Yeah. I think the Nuggets absolutely fleeced the Nets with the Michael Porter Cam Johnson trade. I feel like it pretty sums it up pretty much perfectly. Cam Thomas and Michael Porter Jr. aren't the perfect duo to have, especially considering their play style. I wasn't a big fan of that Igor Demon draft. I thought that was a complete reach. Um, so yeah, I'm not really too high on the Nets this year. I think they're just gonna be a pretty low team this year. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird that they've made some weird managerial or GM decisions. Like they waived Kobe Buffkin, they waived Drew Timmy. Like they cut all these like solid bench pieces,
Yeah.
but they kept a couple like older player names that aren't really going to do a lot this year anyway. So yeah, I get the veteran presence, but I feel like if you're going to commit to the rebuild and commit to just your youth movement, I feel like you just got to go all in and just have Michael Porter Jr. and Terrence Mann as kind of your veteran figures, I guess.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, we got the Charlotte Hornets. Kind of a new direction for them. They drafted Colin Knippel, obviously. Musa Diabate will be their starting center, and then the rest of the lineup outside of Colin Sexton looks about the same. How high in the playoffs do you think that this team could get?
I mean, I've been tempted to put them in like the maybe the 10th spot fighting for a play-in. I've Over the past offseason, I've been liking this Hornets team a lot. They've been growing on me. I like how Brandon Miller's been looking, despite how little of a role he played last year. I like Con Canepa a lot watching him in the summer league. And I do think Miles Bridges gets a little bit too much hate. I think this Hornets roster is solid. They're definitely looking in the right direction from maybe 2 to 3 years from now.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to health. Like LaMelo has to play
Hmm.
more than 60 games for them to have a chance at the playoffs.
For
Brandon
sure.
Miller dealt with injuries. Miles Bridges, who knows? And then your centers with Musa Diabate, Ryan Kalkbrenner, and Mason Plumlee. Like you kind of need them to stay healthy because you already don't really have the greatest front court. But yeah, if LaMelo can stay healthy, I could definitely see this team making the play-in. I just don't really see anything more than that this season.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if the Hornets had Mark Williams at their center position, maybe they could fight for a play-in.
Yeah, but I mean, I like Liam McNeely off the bench too, so I think he should be good for them
Yeah,
this year. But yeah,
I
I
agree.
think that's a pretty good trade for both sides. That Mark Williams trade, at least thus far.
Hmm.
Next up, Chicago Bulls. Not a big fan of this team. I like Matas Buzelis. I like
No.
Kobe White a lot, but I just don't really see this team doing anything this year. I think they should probably just trade away Kobe White, trade away Iderson Moo, trade away Patrick Williams if he can get a fitter for him. Even Vucevic, net a second for him. I just think you
Yeah.
kind of have to go into that long rebuild, turn into what the Nets and the Wizards are doing, and just kind of commit. Because right now, if you're stuck in that like 10, 11, 12 seed, like you're never going to become a title contender.
I agree. I think that Nikola Vucevic needs to get out of Chicago. He's been held captive for the past 2 years. He's always been in the trade deadline talks. I think it's finally time for him to get out. And then it's the Bulls. You can't call your team good when you have Josh Giddey leading your team as like the head of your franchise. I think Josh Giddey was heavily overpaid because the Bulls were just desperate to get him back, and I just don't think they're heading in the right direction right now.
Yeah, for sure. Next up here, we got the Cleveland Cavaliers, expected to be one of, if not the best team in the East. They got Darius Garland, who will be out for at least the first couple weeks of the season, but Donovan Mitchell, DeAndre Hunter, or Dean Wade in there at the three, Evan Mobley and Jared Allen. And then off the bench, Lonzo Ball, who you acquired from the Bulls, and Sam Merrill to kind of taking over a Ty Jerome spot. I like this team a lot. I think this team can win it all. It's just really a question of health. Can Garland, can Mobley, can Allen, can these guys stay healthy? Because I think they need them to stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, to me, last season they reminded me a lot of the OKC from 2 years ago, where they were just a regular season team. The roster didn't have too much playoff experience outside of Donovan Mitchell, and I do think that this year is like a good bounce back year, a good year, especially with a few playoff games under their belt from last season to definitely make a pretty deep push.
For sure. And I mean, I think if I remember last year, the only reason they didn't really go far in the playoffs was because of injuries. So again, kind of
Yeah,
going back to that, you kind of have to stay healthy to have
and
any chance of
and
this team
and
winning.
the Haliban.
Exactly. That also did not help.
Yeah.
Moving on here to the Dallas Mavericks, our first team in the West. Kyrie Irving will be out for the first few months, but come playoff time, he should be starting there at the point guard. You got Klay Thompson, the rookie Cooper Flag, Anthony Davis, and Derek Lively. I like this team a lot. Like I feel like this team gets too much hate. The depth is good, the star power is good. They obviously got Cooper Flag there now. I just don't really know like where the hole is on this team.
I think to me the Dallas Mavericks will struggle maybe the first month of the season. I think Cooper Flag will struggle to get his step into the league. But I think as maybe February, January comes around, I think Cooper Flag is going to be super dominant. I think as soon as Kyrie Irving comes back, this team could you could argue for a contender spot for Cooper Flag's rookie season, which isn't even a crazy take to say.
Yeah, and I mean obviously this team is not young by any means with Davis, with Thompson, with Irving, but I feel like you
Hmm.
kind of have this like 2 year window maybe if Davis and Irving can stay healthy again, where you can still compete for the championship before they're kind of out of their prime. Klay Thompson's gone. Who knows with Gafford, with D'Lo, with that whole bench. But yeah, I think Cooper Flag really saved this team because without him, without that lottery luck, I don't really know if I could put this team above like fifth or sixth in the West.
Yeah, I agree.
Next up, one of my favorite teams this year, the Denver Nuggets. You obviously got Cameron Johnson as we talked about from the Nets. Bruce Brown. They got Tim Hardaway Jr. They just signed Christian Brown. So this team's moving in the right direction, and I think this team can definitely contend for a championship.
Yeah, no, I was a big favorite of the Cam Johnson move. I love Cam Johnson, former Phoenix Sun. I don't know. I haven't been too convinced by Jamal Murray recently, but I do think that this team is looking very solid. Aaron Gordon has been looking really good recently. Christian Braun, sorry. I've been a big fan of him the past 2 years, and I think this Nuggets team could also make a pretty deep push into the playoffs.
Yeah, as long as you have Jokic, you have a chance. Even if Murray goes down or Cameron
Hmm.
Johnson goes down, you still have a good, deepish bench, and the star power with Jokic and Jamal and Gordon, and that whole starting lineup.
Yep.
Moving on here to the Detroit Pistons, probably the surprise team of last year. Can they take that next step forward? That's kind of the question with them. Obviously, you got Cade Cunningham, you got Jaden Ivey, who will hopefully stay healthy. Same with Asar Thompson, who missed the first half of last season, and then Tobias Harris, Jalen Duren rounding out. Solid bench. They signed Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, and then Isaiah Stewart as your backup big man. This team's solid. I don't know if they have the title star power outside of Cunningham.
Yeah, I mean, to me, in my opinion, I put them in my predictions like I think the third seed. But to me, this is a boomer bust year. I can't see them going like middle of the pack. I can see this either going like really, really well or just going like terribly wrong, or maybe possibly also due to injuries.
Yeah, for me, I feel like they should have maybe like they're ahead of schedule with their rebuild, sure.
Hmm.
With that being said, I think you should have gone after a KD, should have gone after one of these big names, because you have the people in Ron Hall and Tobias Harris, Jaden Ivey that you could have packaged for a really big star power. Because right now, like, who's your number two scorer realistically? Like Jaden Ivey or Jalen Duren, like that's not going to win you a championship, and maybe that
Yeah.
comes next off season. But I feel like right now for this season, I don't really see him getting past the first, maybe second round.
Hmm.
Next up, Golden State Warriors. They just added Al Horford. They not Seth Curry, but they have an old team, obviously. What are your
Yep.
expectations with them this year?
The unction is looking pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. I like Al Horford a lot. I like this move. I mean, sure, yeah, this is definitely a win now. I mean, not even win now. They're not gonna contend for the title, but this is definitely just hope something works and maybe Steph Curry can pull something off in his last few seasons. But once Steph Curry retires, this team is so screwed.
Yeah,
Like you have really no one leading the team. I guess you could argue Buddy Hield, Brandon Pajemski, definitely not. Kuminga maybe if he takes a big step up this year, surrounding the hype. But I do think that this team is a little. It's not too good.
yeah, and I'm down on this team. I just feel like someone goes down, whether it's Steph Curry, Jimmy Butler, and this team looks a lot worse. The depth is fine, but like realistically, Brandon Pajemski or Moses Moody or even Kuminga, like they're not winning
Yeah.
you a ton of games. So if Curry went down, if Butler went down, I just don't feel this team could really even make a play-in push. I think this team, without their star power, is probably in that 11, 12 seed. And I'm probably way lower than you. I forget where you put them, but I was definitely lower on them than you.
Mm.
But we'll get to that later in our standings predictions. One of the best teams in the West, though, the Houston Rockets. Obviously, Fred Van Fleet towards ACL. So that point guard position might be Amen Thompson. And you might have Steven Adams, like kind of move everyone up a spot and start two
Yeah.
centers, which is what I've seen. Obviously, the all taller lineup. But the team is good. Like, obviously, KD, Jabari Smith, Alperen Sengun. Can they win a championship, though?
Yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna be probably the first one to say I think the Rockets are overhyped this season. I'm not really joining in on like the hype train that everyone has been seeing this season. I mean, sure, yeah, their roster does look good, but I'm just not fully convinced that they are gonna make a deep, deep push into the playoffs. I could definitely see them maybe getting past the first round, but I can't see them any farther than that.
Yeah, and obviously the Van Vliet injury hurts a lot. Like he was like their best player in the postseason last year. So
Hmm.
without him, obviously KD. But can you trust him as a number one option at what 37 or 38 now?
Yep.
Jabari Smith has to take another step. Tari Eason, who knows? And then Şengün kind of has to carry more weight than he has in years past. They also need Reed Shepard to stand up. So they need a lot of guys to have big years. And it's just kind of will they? And if they don't, then they're kind of in that same, a little bit above the Pistons, but kind of in that same tier.
Yeah.
Next up here, we got the Pacers. Will not have Tyrese Halliburton most likely for the entire season. So you slide Andrew Nembhard and Benedict Mathurin into their spots. Aaron Nesmith just got an extension. Pascal Siakam, and then without Miles Turner, Isaiah Jackson will be their starting center. I forget who their back. Do they have Jay Huff? I think Jay Huff
Yep.
is their backup center. But the team is fine. I think it's kind of one of those like playing teams. But what do you think here?
Yeah, I mean, Obviously, Miles Turner definitely hurts a lot on their team, but we saw from last season, like Halliburton didn't really need to show up a lot of the games in the postseason for the team to really be like that good. I do like their depth. I like Mathurin. I like Neesmith a lot. I've been a fan of Obi Toppin on the Pacers. I do think they can definitely fight for a pretty good playing spot, but without Halliburton, without Turner, I do think they're not going to be as like obviously no one's going to think they're going to be as good as last year.
Yeah, I mean, unless for some magical run, I don't really see him getting past the first round. They feel like
Yeah.
kind of like the magic level team of last year, where they could be a 7 or 8 seed, but I don't really
Hmm.
see them knocking off one of the top seeds in the West.
Yeah.
Next up, we got the Los Angeles Clippers. Obviously, all the offseason stuff with Kawhi, with the owner. But you have a good team. I mean, James Harden, Bradley Beal, Kawhi Leonard, John Collins, Ivica Zubac starting. All very good players. Chris Dunn with defense off the bench with Brook Lopez and Bogdan Bogdanovic, Derek Jones Jr., Chris Paul. They have depth for days. It's just like, can they stay healthy? And will the Kawhi stuff really affect them too much?
I mean, I don't know what's happening down in California, but we got the unction part too. I mean, this team is also just super old. I don't know. I've people have been hyping up the Clippers like not as much as the Rockets, obviously, but a pretty good amount ever since they got Bradley Beal, and I'm just and also John Collins, but I'm just not too convinced with the Clippers. I do think there's going to be like a maybe fighting for a seventh, maybe sixth seed. But yeah, that's basically it.
Yeah, I feel like I had them in the same range. I think it's less. I think this team's good. I like Bradley Beal a lot. I like John Collins a lot. It's just like I don't know. I don't want the Kawhi stuff to affect them a lot, but I think to some extent it has to. Just kind of playing under that kind of the entire season. Who knows what will happen with Leonard? Will he get suspended? Who
Yeah.
knows? It's really been quiet the past couple weeks too, which I've been surprised about. I thought something else would happen, but I
Hmm.
guess they'll wait until next offseason to do anything big. So yeah, I
Yeah.
have them kind of in that late, like the 5 to 8 range, somewhere in there. I think is probably realistic.
Yeah. I'm also just confident that Kawhi won't stay healthy either,
Yeah,
because ever since he left Toronto, he just hasn't been healthy.
for sure. Moving over to the other Los Angeles team, you got the Lakers. LeBron James will be injured for the first few weeks,
Hmm.
but you got Luca obviously Reeves in a contract year, Rui, and DeAndre Ayton, and probably Smart will slide into the starting lineup without LeBron. But then
Yeah.
you got Vanderbilt, you got Connect, you got not a great bench with Laravia and some others, but I think this team's kind of in the same boat as the Clippers, maybe even a little bit worse in
Hmm.
that play-in zone.
Yeah, I agree. And I really didn't like the DeAndre Ayton signing. I thought that if they got Miles Turner, this team would have looked really good. I just haven't been too big on DeAndre Ayton. And I think outside of Luca, when LeBron is injured for the first few weeks, I don't think this team looks too scary, in my opinion.
Yeah, I feel like come playoff time, it's kind of one of those teams that you might want to face. Even with Luca and Braun, it's just like the depth isn't really good. Like you don't really feel comfortable with Jared Vanderbilt or Dalton Connect off the bench, at least right now. Who
Yeah,
knows what will happen this year?
for sure.
Moving on, you got the Memphis Grizzlies. You obviously traded away Desmond Bain. You kind of not hitting the reset, but just like kind of retooling. You got KCP, who they acquired in that trade, who hasn't stayed healthy the past 2 seasons, Jalen Wells, Triple J, and Santi Aldama, with a solid bench. Like I like the depth. It's just like I don't really see this team making any noise as well.
I agree. And also considering that Scottie Pippen Jr. just announced that he's going to be injured for a pretty significant amount of the season, their depth is definitely lacking. And I just don't see them as like too competitive this season.
Yeah, this feels like one of those Miami Heat team, the 9-10 seed. We'll get to the Heat in a
Yeah.
second, but kind of is one of those back half, maybe miss the playoffs. But they have picks now. They have young guys still. GG Jackson not on that list. They have
Hmm.
young guys. It's just kind of maybe 2 years down the road they're contending.
Yeah.
Next up, you got the Heat, who we just talked about. Tyler Hero is going to miss the first month or two. Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo, and then your rookie from last year, Khalil Ware. Bench isn't bad. It's kind of guard and big heavy. No more Haywood Highsmith, who's on the Nets now, maybe.
Yep.
Um, but yeah, the depth is fine. Team's fine. It just feels like another wasted season where you kind of should just reset it all.
Yeah, and I agree. And Bam Adebayo's definitely been taking a step back the past year or two. And then I don't like also similar to the Bulls situation, I don't like the idea of Tyler Hero being your lead scorer.
Yeah. Yeah, this team just doesn't feel like it could get past the first round. Obviously, you saw last year kind of a pathetic wimp out to the Cavaliers. They got swept round one. So
Hmm.
yeah, that kind of feels like their destiny this year, even if they make it to the playoffs, which
For
isn't
sure.
a certainty, especially with Hero's injury. And who knows what will happen with Powell and Wiggins? Can they do what they've done the past couple seasons?
Hmm.
Next up, you got the Bucks. Really low on this team. I mean, you just look at those first three names, and even Miles Turner, like it's just super uninspiring. Your bench is
Yeah,
uninspiring. Like outside of Giannis, like this team probably wins about 15 to 18 games, and Giannis is the only thing saving this team.
I agree. I had them pretty high only because I think this team's gonna have to heavily rely on Turner and on Giannis. And I do think that if both of them do stay healthy for a good amount of the season, they could definitely just be stuck in like that sixth or seventh spot. Um, but other than that, yeah, I just think that if Giannis or Miles Turner, something, hopefully not, so if something goes wrong with them, if they have injury, I do think this team is just gonna be fighting for just a lottery spot.
Yeah, or I don't even know if they have their pick this year. That's the only problem. Like they
Oh, you're
kind of have
right.
to contend. I don't know. I feel like the Blazers might have it. I could be wrong on that. Might have to double check that from the Lillard trade. But I like Cole Anthony. I like Kevin Porter Jr. It's just like can you really rely on them to give you 20 25 minutes a night?
Mm-hmm.
Next up here, we got the Minnesota Timberwolves, a team I am very, very high on this year. You lose a Nikhil Alexander Walker, but you kind of return everyone else. Rob should take a step forward. Terrence Shannon Jr. should take a step forward. Dante DiVincenzo hopefully takes a step back or a step forward
Yep.
and kind of back to whatever he did 2 years ago. And then obviously Ant with another year of development. He should be even better.
Yep. I completely agree. Couldn't say that better.
Yeah, and I mean we'll get to our postseason predictions, but I think this team's made the Western Conference Finals 2 years back to back years. I don't even, maybe this year. We'll see. We'll get to that later in the video though.
Yep.
Next up here we got New Orleans Pelicans. I'm gonna be higher on this team than basically anyone else. I don't think this team's a championship team. Never said that. With that being said, Jordan Poole gets way too much hate. Trey Murphy's an elite player. Herb Jones is super underrated as well. Zion Williamson, I think, should stay healthy this season. And then this bench is pretty good. You got the two rookies with Fears and Queen.
Yep.
DeJounte Murray, when he comes back, who knows what the starting lineup's going to look then. But I like this team a lot. And but what do you think about it?
I completely agree. I really like the Jordan Poole thing. I've been liking Herbert Jones. I've been liking DeJounte Murray. And I just really like their bench right now. But I do think Zion Williamson is kind of the Kyle Pitts of the NFL. People have been saying, "Oh, if he's healthy or if he gets like whatever." And I just think that Zion Williamson just isn't living up to the hype anymore.
Yeah. I mean, it feels like at some point he has to, right? And
Sure.
I feel like 2 years ago he was healthy and they were good. I just think like this team is destined for again that kind of late, the early play-in, late bye round. I just feel like they're kind of capped at the first round, but I do think they make the playoffs for sure.
Yeah.
Which I feel like a lot of people are disagreeing with. This is one of your teams this year, New York Knicks. We'll get to
Hmm.
it later, but what do you think about this team?
I think the new coach, I forgot his name, but the new coach, I think will definitely help. I never liked the New York Knicks' system of putting everyone 40 minutes a game. I really, really like their Jordan Clarkson pickup in the offseason. And I don't know, I just think that their starting roster is still going to be very, very solid. Think that the only reason why they missed out on the finals last year is just because of coaching.
Yeah, coaching and then obviously Halliburton.
Yeah, of course.
Halliburton helps a lot. Yeah, I think this team is good. I just don't know if they can get over the hump. It's just like they're kind of returning the same team from last year outside of Clarkson, and that's about it. I think they're good. I just don't know if they're an NBA Finals team, a team that could win it all. But you disagree with that? We'll get to that later.
Disagree.
Next up, speaking of the finals, that is the finals champion from last year, the Oklahoma City Thunder, returning basically the whole team. They got the same starting lineup, the same top of the bench. You obviously have Isaiah Joe as, in addition to those guys. This team could win it all again. Wouldn't be surprised. I don't have them because I don't want to be boring, but what do you think about them?
The reason why I don't have them winning is I think they might be a little bit hung over from last season. They're definitely going to be like slacking a little bit. Obviously, they don't really have as much to fight for because they just won. But I do think they're obviously going to make a deep playoff push. I have them going to the Western Conference Finals.
Yep, agree with that. Next up, we got the Orlando Magic, another team that was busy this offseason. Desmond Bain, criminally underrated. I think he is a borderline top 30 player in the league. Doesn't get anywhere enough credit. It's just like, can Powell stay healthy? Can Franz stay healthy? Can Jalen Suggs stay healthy? Can this
Yep.
bench stay healthy? More Moritz Wagner towards ACL last year. Jonathan Isaac's never been healthy. It's just like if they stay healthy, they could be an NBA, a sneaky NBA Finals team. It's just like, can we really trust them at this point?
Yeah, not because I thought that last season, if Jalen Suggs would have stayed healthy, they maybe could have put up a decent fight against the Boston Celtics. Because I really like Jalen Suggs a lot.
Yeah, and Paolo, if he takes that next step forward, they could definitely be a dark horse.
Hmm.
Next up, we got the Philadelphia 76ers. This is one of my teams this year. We'll get to it later in our sleeper teams. I mean, I don't know. I like this team a lot. I think Paul George is going to have a bounce back. Joel Embiid, I think he stays healthy. Quentin Grimes, I'm not even the biggest Quentin Grimes guy, but he's solid. Justin Edwards off the bench at Adem Bona if you need. If Joel Embiid is injured, and then obviously Maxey, Edgecombe, McCain. They have even more guys. Like this team is deep. I feel like they're bound to stay healthier than last year, and if they can, I think this team can really make a deep push.
I think this is also another one of the overhyped teams. I'm not too crazy on Maxi. I've never been crazy on Maxi. I think I said this a few months ago with the NBA draft. I think Edgecombe is going to be a bust, in my opinion. I'm not too, nothing really shocks me about him. Grimes, I'm not too crazy. George, he's washed. Embiid, he's washed. And McCain, I just don't know if he can get back like he was rookie season because he was so dominant rookie season. I don't know if he can get back to that level.
Sure. Well, I mean, that's gonna be one of the ones we disagree on, and we'll just have to see how that plays out in the season, I guess.
Yep.
Then you got your team. You want to start off here. What a beautiful starting lineup with Devin Booker, Jalen Green, Ryan Dunn, Dillon Brooks, Mark Williams. You want to talk on this one there?
We are gonna be the sleeper team of the year. People are sleeping on us way too much, bro. Devin Booker, he is so good. Jalen Green, he's gonna have a breakout season. He's gonna have a comeback year. Ryan Dunn, whatever. He's Ryan Dunn. I don't really care about him. Dylan Brooks is good. If you saw him in preseason, he was good. Mark Williams, he's a dog. And then our bench is just so deep. Grayson Allen, the
So
three,
deep.
it's
Your
so
ninth
deep.
man's like Nigel Hayes Davis, but sure, go go ahead.
No, it's okay. Well,
Yeah, who is it then?
are we? Come on, Malawaki's a dog. If you watch him in preseason, he's a dog. Kobe Brea, he's like a mini Devin Booker. Give him 2 more years, we basically have two Devin Bookers on our team.
Yep.
Rasheer Fleming, he's the next Kevin Durant. I'm calling it. Our team is so good.
Sure. I mean, if you look at the last three seasons of Mark Williams' career, he's played 43, 19, and 44 games. Good luck having him on the court and trusting him. If you didn't like Bradley Beal because he missed too many games, have fun with Mark Williams.
Okay, well, the only reason why
Um,
that happened is because he's on the Hornets. No one wants to play for the Hornets.
I don't know if anyone
That
wants to play for the Suns either. I'm going to be completely honest.
no, that's literally why Lamelo missed like 2/3 of the season because he doesn't want to play for the Hornets.
Yeah, I think this team's bound for the 11th seed. We'll get to that later. I don't really see this team doing anything in the playoffs. They're fine. They're just like uninspiring. I don't think that they really have the depth or star power instead of Booker to do anything. But
You're
that's your
hating too
team.
much, bro.
Next, and then we'll get to this later. This is my team. I think this team can win the finals.
No, you're stupid. This is
I'll
the
go out there and
dumbest
say
thing.
it. I think Denny Avdia is going to might average 25 this season. He's so
No,
good. Tamani Kamara just
no.
got an extension, well deserved. Donovan Clingan, second year, gonna take that step forward. Shaden Sharp is probably my favorite player in the league. That's not on my Washington Wizards. Drew Holiday, I don't even like, but he's fine. Jeremy Grant also don't like. He's whatever. And then I mean, you have Scoot Henderson, you have Young Hansen. That's your
Hmm.
guy.
Hmm.
And then Matisse Thybulle, you have a bunch of other guys on this bench. I feel like this team could be really, really good.
I think this is one of my sleeper teams only because they have the second best player in the league, Young Hansen. Behind Devin Booker, obviously. But I do think I really like Shaden Sharp. I do like Kamara a lot, and I think they have a really deep roster, and I think that they could definitely be like maybe the Detroit Pistons of last year.
Yeah, and I think you have to look like Shaden Sharp's gonna be making like 20 mil a year, Kamara 20 mil a year, Denny Avdia like 13 mil a year. Like this team can yeah, Jeremy Grant and Drew Holiday aren't on great contracts. You can
Hmm.
go out and like trade your younger guys and then trade one of Holiday and Grant and go out and get another great player. Trey Young, I'll just put it out there.
Nah.
But yeah, I think that this team can contend in the West for sure.
Yep.
I saw people putting this team at like 13th in the West, and I think that's incredibly
That's
disrespectful.
yeah, that's
Like you
disrespectful.
can't. This team is going to be not even a playing team, better than that, in my opinion. But that's
Hmm.
I know that's unpopular. You got the Sacramento Kings going from one of my favorite teams to one of my least favorite teams. I don't know what they're doing. I feel like they should just trade their whole, like all seven of those eight guys shouldn't even be on this team after this year.
Yeah.
Like I don't, they're just not. They're never gonna be good with this team. Like I don't really understand what they're
No,
doing.
I completely agree. I think ever since the trade deadline when they traded away De'Aaron Fox and they got Zach LaVine, I think that was the downfall of the Sacramento Kings. I just don't like this roster at all. I mean, nothing really like stands out, nothing pops out as to me as this is like a good team. Sure, you could argue say Sabonis, but other than that, like Zach LaVine, he's been looking like average. DeMar DeRozan hasn't been on prime form as he was maybe 3, 4 years ago. And I don't like Malik Monk at all. And Keegan Murray's been average. So I just think that this is very below to average team.
Yeah, I love Zach Levine. I love Domantas Sabonis. I love Nate Clifford. We'll get to that later. I love Russ, obviously. But then when you combine all these players, like it's kind of just gross. Like you don't feel
Yeah.
inspired by that lineup at all. Like if you're playing them at all, like I feel like you're just not worried about any of those players all that much. Like they're a bunch of solid players. They're not going to make up the playoffs, in my opinion, and I don't really see them doing anything more than getting into the play.
Yeah, I feel like also I think no one even talks about them in the offseason. They had no motion in the offseason until they had Westbrook when people started to talk about them. But like adding Westbrook to your team doesn't make you like contenders, which is I think is stupid.
Yeah, and I love Westbrook. He's not gonna change make this
Yeah.
team a contender at all.
No, definitely not.
You got the Spurs. This is you want to talk on this to start here.
I love the Spurs, bro. I think they're gonna be I think they're gonna make a push to the finals. I think Wembanyama is gonna have one of the best seasons we've ever seen in NBA history. I think he's gonna have an insane season. I think De'Aaron Fox is gonna have an insane season. I've been really liking, um, I've been really liking Stephon Castle. I think he's gonna be good. I think Dylan Harper and who else did they get in the draft? Yep, Carter Bryant. I think both of them are gonna have really good roles for this Spurs team. I'm just really liking this team a lot.
Um, I mean, we can elaborate on more when you look at the standings. I am not going to be anywhere near you on the Spurs. I see them getting past the first round at all, and even that's a stretch for me. But we can get to that later. Obviously, you're a lot bigger than me on this team.
Yep.
Next up, Toronto Raptors. I mean, this team could finish fifth in the East. This team could also finish 13th in the East. Who knows? I have them
Yeah.
somewhere in the middle, probably. This feels like another play-in team, but they have the pieces to go make somewhat of a run. It just feels
Hmm.
like another Kings situation where, like, you're not really going to win it all with this core. I feel like you kind of have to pick one or the other.
Yeah, and I feel like the Raptors are trying too hard to be as good as the Suns. I mean, Emmanuel quickly, RJ Barrett, like that's just like just say that's the Walmart version of Devin Booker and Jalen Green. Like they're good, but they're not as good, obviously. They're gonna be like a worse version of the Suns.
Sure, sure. Yeah, I mean, I like Grady Dick. Comer and Boyle's fine. Jamal Shed fine. Jonathan Mogbo's fine. Like, they're just okay. Like, I don't know. They're not inspiring again.
Hmm.
Next up, you got the Utah Jazz. Not expected to be good. They should be
Nope.
fun though. I mean, Bryce Sensabaugh, you got Kyle Filipowski, Ace Bailey, Walker Kessler, Walter Clayton Jr., Keontae George. Like, this team's gonna be fun. They might also win about 18 games.
Yeah, but I know Ace Bailey by trade deadline will be wanting to get out.
Yeah,
That
I
is
mean,
something
who
for
knows?
certain.
He could be a bust. Like, I
No,
know he's
he was
looked good in the preseason,
his
but who knows?
preseason was good.
Yeah, I mean, you also got to think like Johnny Davis. His preseason was pretty good, and he's now on in the Bucks G League. So who knows?
Yeah,
We we'll see what happens. Also,
we'll
Marvin
see.
Bagley had a legacy preseason. Doesn't mean he's gonna be incredible.
Yeah, we'll see.
And then finishing out with my team, the Washington Wizards. I don't want this team to be good because we have a top eight projected first. I don't think this team's gonna be good anyway. Hopefully, we can just like after the trade deadline, just have people under 25, like just go straight into the youth movement. I think this team's got really underrated depth. Like not even on this top eight is Corey Kispert, who I think could be impacting on a lot of postseason teams. Obviously, Will Riley, Tristan Vukcevic. Like, there's a lot of guys that I feel like are really good. It's just like we don't have that star player at all. I don't really know
Yeah.
who's going to lead this team in scoring. Could be Trey Johnson for all we know, but I don't know. Like, I don't think this team is anything special.
Yeah. Just say that Corey Kispert's just the Walmart version of Grayson Allen. You can just say it.
At least he's
Um,
not overpaid. Not getting paid $16 million a year.
yeah, but I don't really like this roster. I think the worst move you guys made was trading away Jordan Poole for CJ McCollum. I think that was the dumbest thing that's ever happened to this franchise. One,
Oh
maybe
wait,
the
wait.
fourth dumbest.
Didn't we trade you guys Bradley Beal? And then we got back some of your firsts, and
No,
then we didn't have to pay his contract. That was pretty cool too.
I don't remember that ever happening. I
Oh
like
yeah,
Bub Carrington though. Oh, get back on track. I like Bub Carrington a lot. I like Trey Johnson. Alex Sarr, I do think he's a really good piece for this roster, but other than that, I just don't see them winning more than 50, like 20 games.
yeah. I mean, I didn't like Jordan Poole move at first. I think it sets us up better for the future. CJ McCollum's a free agent. Chris Middleton's a free agent. You have a bunch of other guys on our bench that are going to be free agents that are getting paid a lot of money. So I think we have like $80 million in cap space. Sets us up great for the next few years. I mean, I think
Yeah.
this team can definitely contend to probably 3 years down the road. It's just obviously not this year. This team's not going to be good.
I don't know about 2 or 3 years, maybe like 7, 8 years, but sure. I mean, I think this is definitely just a filler year. This is definitely just like, when you have a TV show and then like there's just a bunch of filler episodes in the plot. This is definitely just a filler.
Yeah,
Nothing's
it's
gonna
just they're
happen.
there. They'll be
Hmm.
fine. Trey Johnson hopefully is good. We can't. He could not be a bust. We needed him to
Yeah,
be the next Devin Booker.
and that's not gonna happen.
Let's start with our predictions for the starting with the East. We'll then go to the West. We have the same five teams here. I have the Wizards in 15th. You have them in 14th. You have the Bulls all the way down at 15. I have them at 13. And then Nets, Hornets, and Heat. You said the Hornets could make the play, and I agree with that. I really think
Hmm.
either Heat or Hornets could slide into that 9 or 10 spot too.
Yep.
Then moving into the top 10, is where we'll have some difference. You're higher on the Celtics than me. You'll have them at 7. I have them down at 10. Raptors about the same. You got the 76ers at 9. I think is crazy, but who knows? And then you have the Bucks in the top 5, which I would love to hear why you think that they're better than the Hawks or the Celtics.
Um, it's because they're gonna have to rely on Giannis a lot more. I feel like similar to the Suns this season, Giannis and Devin Booker will have to take a big step up because they're basically just leading the pack. And I do think they both will do that at the same time, and I think that both of them will have insane breakout seasons.
Sure. I mean, I don't know breakout. I feel like they've kind of already
Well,
broken
no, no,
out a
but
little bit.
like
Giannis has won a couple
but
MVPs,
no,
but
no, breakout as in like they'll be contending for GOAT status.
oh, sure, sure.
Yeah,
Uh,
as if they weren't already in the GOAT
uh-huh.
status.
We have the top two in the East. I have the Hawks all the way up at number 3, and the 76ers at 4. You have the Pistons at 3 and the Bucks at 5, and we both have the Magic there too. I mean, realistically, I could see probably 8 teams in this division. If we go back, I feel like up until probably the Pacers, that's probably 6. So I could see 6 teams here winning the East,
Hmm.
which is very wide open. And I think the West probably has even more. I think it's kind
Yeah.
of more open than any other year before.
I also want to add that for 5, 6, 7, and 8, and maybe 9 also, I do think they're just gonna be separated by a game or two, which is why I think the Bucks are just gonna go fifth seed, only because they maybe won by like half a game.
Sure, sure. Let's move over to the West here. You got the, I mean, I don't know. You were hyping up the Trailblazers, and then you put them at 14th in your West, I guess. We both have the Jazz at 15. I have the Kings way down at 14. You have them up at 11. And then we both have the Grizzlies. I have the Warriors at 12. Probably unpopular. Realistically, there's a lot of good teams in the West, and I kind of just had to pick one to not make it.
I'm
And I
yeah,
put the Warriors.
I'm low-key rethinking it now. I think I would switch the Kings and the Trailblazers now. I think I messed that up.
Sure, sure.
Like now that I'm rethinking it, I would actually switch them.
Well, that's fair. Yeah, the Kings are not going to be very good. The Grizzlies probably can't do anything more than 13, especially
Hmm.
unless some other team falls off, which probably will happen.
Yep.
Moving into our top 10, I got the Trailblazers all the way up at 6. You got the Clippers at 10, the Suns at 9, the Warriors at 8, Lakers 7, and Rockets at 6. We'll get to the Spurs. I have them at number 10. I don't know, like Wemby needs to stay healthy for this team to have any chance. And really, De'Aaron Fox, I don't want to say he's overrated. Also, don't think he's what people are expecting to do. Stephon Castle really also kind of overrated. He's not that great offensive player that people think he is. And I think the Pelicans, the Lakers, the Clippers, the Trailblazers are all better teams.
You're just mad this the Wizards could never get Wembanyama.
Yep,
You're just
a little bit.
salty.
A little
Just
bit.
salty. I like
That would be
Wembanyama.
awesome. Imagine, yeah. Well, we got Koulibaly though, so that's cool.
Okay. Sure.
Better than Wemby.
Sure.
And then moving into our top five, you got the Spurs at five, and then I got the Rockets at three, and then basically the rest of it's the same. I think the Rockets could kind of be in that 3 to 6 range. I got them all the way up at three, though. I think KD changed this game a lot. Same top two, the Thunder and Nuggets.
Hmm.
Moving on to our Eastern Conference and Western Conference picks. Do you want to start off with your Eastern and Western picks here?
Mm, I I think the Spurs, like I've said it again, they're really good. I've been liking their team a lot. I really like the Spurs. I really like Wembanyama. For the Eastern Conference Finals, I think that the Knicks, I think it's their year. I think it's finally their year. I mean, I think Cat just couldn't fit into his shoes for his first year in New York. I think finally now, Cat, Mikal Bridges, Josh Hart, and everyone else, they're finally going to get together and they're going to find a way to win because their team is just too good to not go to the finals.
Yeah. It's kind of weird. We have eight different teams in those eight spots. I think the Cavs are probably the best team in the East, in my opinion. The Hawks, I think, could make a run. I don't know if like that's probably a stretch for them to make the Eastern
Yeah.
Conference Finals, but like them, the Magic, the Knicks could all do that. And then I like the Timberwolves a lot this year. Nuggets I also like a lot. I think there's a lot of teams in the Western Conference that could make an argument. The Thunder too, obviously.
Hmm.
Moving on though, the aforementioned Knicks, and then I will have the Minnesota Timberwolves over the Cleveland Cavaliers. Yeah, I think there's a lot of teams that could win this year. The Thunder, obviously, and a lot of other teams. But yeah, any comments on this?
The reason why I don't like the didn't have the Timberwolves, I mean, I really like Anthony Edwards. I just don't think ever since they traded away Cat, I'm just haven't been too big on that team. I ever since also watching Anthony Edwards and the Timberwolves last season, especially against the Thunder, I don't think that they're necessarily ready to start contending for a championship. Don't get me wrong, they're definitely a good team, but I just think that other teams definitely have the edge over them.
And then there's sleeper teams. Donnie kind of already talked about
Oh,
these, but the Suns, the Hornets, and Trailblazers. I got Trailblazers at number one, and then the 76ers and Pelicans. I think people are really way too low on, in my opinion.
the Phoenix Suns are going to shock the world.
You have them at
Trust
the
me.
nine seed too. You aren't even like that high on them.
No, but like that 9 seed is when you sleep on them.
Sure, sure.
One
Um,
seed is when it's actually going to
let's
happen.
talk about the Suns though. MVP Devin Booker.
Oh, Devin Booker.
Do you
It's
wanna
gonna.
elaborate on this?
I don't need to state the inevitable.
What do you like? What? How many points does Devin Booker need to average for him to win MVP?
Doesn't matter. He's gonna get it.
I feel like he would have to average
Moving,
like
moving, no,
he would
moving him
need to
to
average
the
like 38 to win MVP.
moving him to the point guard spot just makes him so versatile. Like you don't realize how much of a difference it is moving him to the point guard spot. He's so versatile now. He's like Wembenyama if Wembenyama wishes he was Devin Booker. Hmm.
Anyway, I think that Nikola Jokic should have won last year, and then this year should put up the same numbers and win MVP. So, yeah, probably one that actually makes sense. Donnie,
Mine
a little
makes
bias,
sense.
no
You can't
bias whatsoever there.
you
Whatever.
can't stop the inevitable. Can't
Depoy,
stop it.
it's hard to not pick Wemby. If he stays healthy, he should win.
Look, I think sleeper pick for Depoy could also be Devin Booker. Could be a sleeper.
Rookie of the year, Devin Booker.
No,
Your
that's not
sleeper,
that's not possible, Ben. That's not possible.
Kobe Bryant, rookie of the year.
That's possible.
Speaking of rookie of the year, I probably should justify why I picked Nick Clifford. I don't think the Kings are good. I've said that numerous times. I think if they trade DeMar DeRozan, which they should do, Nick Clifford could average 15 or 16 points this year. Um, Cooper Flag obviously is probably the favorite and probably should win it. But I think I wanted to pick a sleeper for one of these awards, and I feel like Nick Clifford has a real shot at it this year.
Here, I'll give you an actual good sleeper. Hanson Yang. He will actually be a sleeper. People are sleeping on him way too much.
Rasheer Fleming, like,
He
could.
is actually Rasheer
Could.
Fleming's a dog.
I mean, the Suns don't really have those forwards that really are going to get too much in the way. So, like, you
Yeah.
could, you really just have to think of, like, you have to have real playing time to have any chance of winning this award. Cooper Flag obviously will have that. Nick Clifford probably should have that this year. So yeah, I think there's a lot of people that could win it. Good rookie class, and I think, yeah, 10 or 15 names that could win this easily.
Hmm.
Most improved, two of the probably main, most popular picks. Obviously, I talked about Danny Avdia. I think the
Hmm.
Trailblazers are really good. What do you think on Mathurin?
I really like Mathurin. I saw what he did in the postseason last year. I've been liking him a lot. He reminds me of like if Jonathan Kuminga actually did something in his life and actually had a purpose in his life. I really like Benedict Mathurin. I like him a lot, and I just think that, especially with Halliburton out, he's definitely going to be one of the main guys that the Pacers will have to rely on besides Pascal Siakam. And I think he's definitely going to have a good breakout year.
Yep, I almost picked him. Makes a ton of sense. And
Hmm.
then two more here. We got Coach of the Year. You got Mark Dagno, and I have David Adelman. Not much to say on this. I
Hmm.
don't. I almost went Chauncey Billups, but I also don't really like him as a coach. I
Yep.
think it's more that this team is good now. But yeah, and then obviously the Thunder should be good again.
Yep.
And then finishing off with six man of the year. I mean, like as much as I want to just pick a sleeper and just like a random name, there's really only like 5 or 10 names that you can realistically see winning this.
Yep.
Ty Jerome came out of nowhere last year, but he didn't even end up winning it. So yeah, Nas Reed, DeAndre Hunter both make sense. Anthony Simons has been tossed around. Benedict Mathurin obviously could. Like, there's a ton of names that could win this.
Hmm.
So that'll do it for episode number 17 of the End Zone Boys. Hope you enjoyed this, Donnie. Any last things?
Yep. Suns in five.
Sure. You heard
Yep.
it. You heard it there. Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, wherever you are watching us on. Thank you so much. For me and Donnie, we will see you next time on the End Zone Boys.
Bye bye.